Hey y'all, Darius Rucker here. You know, a lot of people ask me, what inspires your music? And one of the big things is a strong sense of place. That's why I love my home state of South Carolina and want to share the awesome things it has to offer. From the beautiful mountains down to the sunny coast, it's got it all. Not to mention two of my personal favorites, great golf and amazing food. Come see why I love this place. Visit discoversouthcarolina.com.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
This is a podcast from Minute Media.
Hashtag no music, no intro, no coach, no quarterback, no Michael Thomas.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
No right guard, no who first. Just keep going down the list, bro. Oh, so we recorded that emergency podcast when the Sean Payton news came down that he was stepping down. And Ryan and I wanted to have another episode now that the shock has passed a little bit. Because that was on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? Yeah, it was Tuesday. And really just have a discussion about what's next for the Saints, what should be next for the Saints, because they don't have a head coach for the first time in 16 years. That's a big thing. It's a huge thing. And we just need to talk about it. Like, we recorded like a 30-minute episode. We try to keep it concise. It was during the work day, but I really wanted to have like an episode where we could really go in depth and talk about this search, right? Before we talk about the search, anything else in terms of just Sean? Now that we had the post conference, the presser. Anything before we talk about the future and the coaching search about Sean Payton reflection? Maybe things that you heard during the presser you want to talk about before we kind of move on and turn the page.
Well, I mean, it's just been kind of like just something I've just been digesting over the past couple of days. Going through all the range of emotions, just like everybody else: anger, frustration, sadness, happiness. Just looking back at some of the great times we had, over this run and all that stuff. So. It's just been a lot of that, and just seeing the reaction from all his players. Like, that's all that really counts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All his past players, not even big time players, DJ Swearinger, even players that didn't even play for him, like Tyrann Mathieu. Just, people all around the league, players that have got to know him and played for him. Just the respect, you know what I'm saying? Like, just all of them, you still call him coach, my favorite coach.
Does Devin Bro's statements matter?
I ain't seen nothing from Devin Bro. but you would expect to have, you're gonna have a couple players that probably.
Yes. I'm just yes.
I'm just saying for the overall, like, they loved him, bro. Like, and you can't take that away from him, man. Like, for the most part, players love playing for Sean Payton. You get your junior, you can let hair or a devil bro there where something don't go right, or your boy that went to New England. But
Hicks?
Huh? No,
Wait.
Hicks, Jimmy Graham, the one that got away, New England.
Rob Nikovich. It's interesting. It was interesting to me that he said that that's his biggest regret as a coach.
Right. I know, right?
Really, bro?
Like all that, man.
You didn't see what fucking number 15 did against the Bills on fucking Sunday?
Man, I'm so glad I wasn't at that presser, bro. Because I was like y'all finally got Sean here, and he ready to answer anything. He said,
vulnerable, anything.
I'm ready to talk about anything. I'm like, and y'all asking these softball ass questions. Like, bro, do you regret testifying against Jimmy Graham in the
and ruining that relationship?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been asking some serious questions. What happened with Vicodin Gate? What really went on? Did you have a drug problem?
Bro, they would have had us escorted out like Cooper Jr. in that bitch, bro.
What really went down with Hakeem Hicks? You know?
I added Sean because I'm still blocked on Twitter, even though he's not the head coach of the Saints anymore. But I asked him, I said, is the Saints Twitter podcast, are we getting the king cake? Like,
nothing, bro.
Yes, that players that play for him, even players that didn't play for him, there's just such a profound respect that has echoed these couple of days. And I really thought about it, and I was like, it's so, and I don't know who the guy is, but man, it's super fucking important that whoever the next head coach of the Saints is, like that, they gotta command respect, man. Like, and we can segue into this. So the three people that we know thus far that has interviewed for the head coaching job that's been reported: Aaron Glenn, Byron Leftwich. Well, that one's scheduled. I don't know if that one's happening. And Dennis Allen. That's it thus far. And there's like this I won't even say it's a good debate, because I think when we're going to talk about it, it's like, what is best for this team? Is it you just promote Dennis Allen to head coach and you keep Pete Carmichael an offensive coordinator, and maybe have to find, it's just the continuity and just keep the ship running, right? And where the flip side is just like, man, you have an opportunity to kind of, I don't want to say a reset, right? It's just shake things up a little bit. At the end of the day, there's still a lot of talented players on this team. So that's why when I saw that Daniel Jeremiah tweet, I was like, this is why you become the fucking GM of the Eagles. Like, he was saying, like, the Saints should just take a rebuild and trade away some veterans. I was like, because their cap situation, I was like, so you want to trade veterans to make their cap situation worse by accelerating dead money? Like,
right. I don't get it.
Like, what? Like, you were supposed to be a GM? Daniel,
but is he not the only one, though, bro? I was listening to Mike Lombardi today. He was talking about, like, man, he got out just in time because they are in a mess. It's a mess of a situation. Nick Shook wrote a big article how they need to just dump like 10 players.
Oh, well, Nick Shook's been blocked for a couple of years, but continue.
I already know. But it's like I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, can you just like make it make sense for me? Like, because I'm willing to hear another side, be like, oh yeah, I don't agree with it, but it makes sense. But it don't even make sense like just on paper. Like,
it doesn't. Maybe the argument is like we had a Hall of Fame head coach, top 3 head coach in the league, and with this roster, I mean, it's going to change for next season. But with this roster, it got to 9 wins, which honestly they were Rams choking away from the playoffs. If the Rams don't take that game away, do Deshaun make that same decision? I don't. After a playoff run, I don't know, man. Anyway, so I guess their their point is like, well, now you can remove that head coach away, and then then you're just free falling. And it's like, well, yes, Sean himself probably coached the Saints to, I would say, an extra 2 wins this season. I think it's fair.
Yeah,
an extra 2, right? Which that's a huge thing in NFL, as we have seen. That's huge. Yeah. But
that's the difference between playoffs and not making playoffs.
And not playing the playoffs, right? But also, the logic of trading good players, just trading good players just for the sake of a rebuild, it completely befuddles me. It does not make any sense. I'm like, man, I'm about to see DJ. We're gonna see DJ at the Senior Bowl. Like, I still got some questions for him. Like, logically, like that tweet, I was like, this team was like a quarterback and a couple of pieces on offense away from like making noise. Now, maybe you don't have Sean, and then it gets murky as shit, and I get that, but come on, I don't like you said, man. It doesn't make sense to me of this blow it up, start a new thing. I don't understand it.
Like, to do what though? Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Is like, okay,
so like, I guess it's like a debt consolidation, right? Like you clear your debt, like this, like for what though? Like you want us to become like the Jags or all these downtrodden teams?
You clear your debt, and in 2023, you have 10, 11 picks, and $30 million in cap space. And you shit, like your roster, it sucks. Like your roster is ass. Like you don't have anything.
Nothing.
So like, what are you doing? Like it's like, what exactly are you doing? Like, how are you getting better? Tell me that. Like,
are they saying just
draft some young players and they just hope they're good? And you have rookie contracts, and I mean, I don't know. It's like that's not solving anything to me. You know what I'm saying? Like that makes. It's just not worse. Yeah. So that I don't get. I understand, like, you using a player here or a player there to, as a chip to maybe bring in a quarterback or, just get some added resources to draft some offense or something like that. I get that, but like just to dump your roster, which they have a good coach. I mean, you got Marshawn Lattimore, who's 25. Under contract,
just got extended this season.
Just got extended. You got, we'll see what happens with Marcus Williams. You got Don't Vax Me Bro, rookie, under contract. You got CJ Gardner-Johnson, who's, going to be coming up on a contract soon, but still under a rookie contract. Good secondary, like a really good top 3 secondary. You got, Pete Werner, young linebacker on a contract rookie. You got Demario Davis getting older, long in the tooth. You know what I'm saying? Got to be, thinking about that. You got a defensive line, Cam Jordan, long in the tooth. Still a good player. You got, Marcus Davenport on the 5th-year option. Peyton Turner, question mark, we don't know. You got Onyemata extended, on a contract. It's like, okay, like you got these good players on defense. They're all in their 20s, in their prime. It's like,
and they're like, trade them,
get rid of them. It's like, no. Now you got a lot of work to do on offense. A lot of work. It's no question. You got a gaping hole at quarterback. Offensive line needs at least 2 new players. You need, at least 1 or 2 wide receivers, a tight end maybe, and maybe a running back. So there's a lot of work to be done on offense. And you need a head coach. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of work to be done, but it's not like a rebuild. I don't see rebuild. I could see if like the defense was all like just old, 30-year-old guys, on the end of their talent, you know what I'm saying, running out.
Right.
I can understand that, but right now it just doesn't make sense.
None. It doesn't make a lick of sense.
I'm so tired of the cap talk. It's like, God damn, like Do y'all pay attention at all? Like national media, do you like even try to pay attention?
Nope.
I keep it like Michael Labarda was saying today. They kept kicking the cap down the road. Now it's time to pay the piper. Like who's the piper? Like what? it's like there's some bill coming due. He said the bill's coming due. It's like what bill? As long as the owner is willing to keep writing a check,
that's it.
Of these prorated bonuses or whatever.
That's it.
That's it. Like that's it. The only reason they really got fucked is because the pandemic. They got fucked last year.
TV money
closed down and it shrunk the cap. That's the only reason.
Can we? This is also the same owner that, and she may not still be paying him, but at one point was paying Alvin Gentry, Stan Van Gundy, and Willie Green. I don't know if they all coincided that she's paying all three of these NBA coaches at the same time. But like she is willing to spend her money for a good product. Now, this is not a Pelicans podcast, but just from getting the sense through Hell's Twitter, it seems like they got the right guy on Willie Green. Now, did it take them a while to get there? It did, and she's still paying Stan Van Gundy and paying out that contract. But if you got the guy in place, Gail Benson has really shown that she doesn't care about the money. She just cares about a contender and putting out a good product. So for people who, I don't know, man. I just wish people who talk about this stuff like were just educated and informed. Because these people who say these things are not like dumb people, right? Like they're educated, but if you're coming to this table, because I feel like us as Saints fans, like when people bring up the cap, we are experts in itself to the cap, bro.
Yes, we understand the cap very well. We really do.
Like Dave Chappelle said when it's good, like every black person is an attorney. Like, let me.
Exactly. Like we understand voided years. You know what I'm saying? Like other teams don't even know what that is. Like they don't even do that. We understand voided years, 2 years voided. We understand what that means. You know what I'm saying? We understand proration. We understand all of this shit, bro. Like we know what's going on with our team, and it's like, damn, y'all got these jobs. Supposed to be NFL analysts and professionals that understand all this shit.
Michael Lombardi was a GM of the Browns, bro.
It's like, bro, you should understand this. And it's to some people credit there, like Greg Rosenthal, he gets it. He's like, he's watched this enough to understand what's going on. Sam Monson, whatever his name is from PFF, he's like, this is what they do. I know, but I know, but this he's like, this is what the Saints do. It's like it's just, and everybody runs the team different. The Rams, they don't care about draft picks. Like they literally don't. They haven't used a first round draft pick since Jared Goff. That's how they build their roster.
You know how wild that is, bro? Like that is wild.
It's wild. It's wild. And and that might not work for everybody. It works,
but it has worked for them though.
Right. So it's like, it's exhausting, though, man. It's like, oh my God.
I just feel like this whole part of me. There's a part of me that sees this as like darkness. Like darkness is coming. To quote Rick James, darkness is coming. But part of me also kind of feels like, kind of like the excitement of like, oh shit, like what's gonna happen? What's gonna come? That might go away real quick. But let's talk about this search. And the first question I'm going to ask you from jump is this going to be a real search?
Don't look like it.
I don't think so, bro.
It don't look like it. It just seems like they already had in mind what they wanted to do from the beginning. Supposedly they're going to interview Byron Leftwich and Aaron Glenn, looking like Rooney Rule check marks. It's unfortunate, but like that's just the way the game is. But, you never know. You know what I'm saying? Byron Leftwich can come in and blow them away. They love Aaron Glenn. They love Aaron Glenn. Like, everybody loves Aaron Glenn. He's a leader of men.
Man, I said, I don't know if I said, why couldn't Sean just do this last year? We could have had Dan Campbell, bro. It
would have been perfect. Would have been perfect, bro. Dan Campbell would have been perfect.
Yeah. Because even though the Lions, the wins that the Lions had, every time they would show the Lions locker room, you could tell that every player in the Lions had respect for Dan Campbell as their coach. Like, that is
absolutely
undisputed. You could just see it.
And even their losses, man, they had some tough losses, bro. Like,
and they competed with a bad roster, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It would be whatever. So anyway, I won't be mad at Sean. It does seem like this just kind of going through the motions, and they're gonna put DA as head coach, keep Pete as offensive coordinator. And I'll say this, if that's the plan, DA, his Oakland run didn't go that great, obviously. And I think the big question, DA maybe to a degree, but especially for Pete, right? Pete Carmichael Jr. Players gonna respect him, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if Pete don't carry that big stick like that. You know what I'm saying?
He don't, bro. Like, someone last night was like, oh, Pete Carmichael did a pretty good job in 2012. And I'm like, that's a decade ago.
Yeah.
And he had Drew Brees.
And yeah, because Drew Brees was like, fuck all that. I'm about to throw this thing downfield. And Drew Brees had like 22 interceptions that year. So. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, Drew Brees had a 5 interception game that year. 5 interceptions. Like, no way Sean Payton would let Drew throw 5 interceptions.
No way.
Don't let it happen. He would run the ball 50 times if he got to. He would sit Drew Brees' ass down like, what the fuck is wrong with you right now? Like, So it's like that's the part that's going to be missed with Pete, is just that coaching. And then we don't have a quarterback. Like, we don't know, Sean Payton, like, people like bring up Jameis. It's like Sean Payton coached the shit out of Jameis. Like, Sean Payton was managing Jameis, micromanaging to a point. I don't know. I just don't know with Pete. Pete is a question mark,
One thing I wish during this search transition, whatever, and we talked about it a bit during the emergency podcast. Can we get some juice in the building on offense, bro?
Juice, man.
Just juice.
Eyes, fresh eyes.
Please, I don't know if that's bringing Joe Brady back. I just feel like if you just bring in Pete as offensive coordinator, it feels like this is like the Saints, but it's like the Sean Lights version of the Saints, right? And is that going to work? Like, it just doesn't feel like it's going to work. Now, maybe I'm selling Dennis Allen short. Maybe his time, kind of like how Dan Quinn got that push for head coaching this cycle. Maybe he learned a lot in Oakland, and he's learned a shit ton under Sean, where he's now ready to be the dude.
Right. Because he has to be more than a defensive coach. He has to coach the entire team. And he has to understand building the other coaching staff. And we don't know. We're saying Pete's going to be the OC, but maybe Dennis Allen might have somebody else in mind. It's going to be important for the Saints to let him do what he wants to do, whatever it is.
I agree with that. 100%. I just don't know. I don't even know if pessimistic's the right word. I don't see it, because it just feels very like a mom and pop run business. And now the owner of it's gone, but we're still going to keep like all the same policy and procedures in place.
And some of that is not a bad idea. Like Sean Payton put a system in place.
Yes.
That is good. And I think, the Saints have an opportunity here that could be interesting because they could become like one of those franchises like the Steelers, like Green Bay, where the framework of the entire organization is just solid. You know what I'm saying? It's just solid. Where you bring in the coach is going to change, things are going to change, but you still have just this solid foundation of practices that just works. You know what I'm saying? And just the way you operate, from the front office to practices to, everything, just that the Ravens, it's just like it just works. And, if they could get this right,
yes,
and get the right coach to come in. And, like if you look at, like, you had Chuck Noll with the Steelers, coach for decades. Then they went to Bill Cowher. He coached for like a decade plus. Then they went to Mike Tomlin. You know what I'm saying? But it still kept that, like, it's still a Steelers. Like, regardless of the three coaches, it's the Steelers DNA. Steelers. Mm-hmm. It's just that DNA you see. And you start to see that with the Ravens. You see that with the Packers the past 2 years, the past, 20, 30 years or whatever. So the Saints have a chance to do that. And they're at a point right now where they can make this happen or not make it happen, where they go literally just wind the clock back and go back to being the pre-Sean Payton Saints. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you really fuck up. Like, that's what you really don't want to see happen, where shit just goes back to being, where they just fumble the ball and it's going back to being the Aints, bro. Like, that'd be heartbreaking. Like, that'd really be heartbreaking, man.
It would be. And I mean, something we didn't talk about, and I'm not going to belabor it and talk about it any longer. Like, we all know Sean's coming back in a year or two to coach the Cowboys, right? Like, we know this.
Yeah.
Bro. And, shout out to Greg, because he knows the drill. So I was listening to the Around the NFL podcast when they were covering it. And, like, if Sean wants to make that personal decision to come back to coaching in a couple of years, and I'm sure he will, I'm sure the team will probably be the Cowboys. Like, the Saints and Gale at that point has to see that as like, listen, he's not our coach anymore, but he is a valuable commodity and he is an asset that we have to turn over to our benefit.
Period.
Jerry Jones, I need 3 first-round picks.
Period.
3 first-round picks, 2 seconds.
Period. And that's the thing I understand is, like, the media is not talking about. It's like, you think, like, Gail Benson is just going to be like, oh, okay, well, let me just sign over his rights because we love Sean. No, that's not how this works. That's why they signed him to the contract they signed him to.
And even if Gail was, not that I think she would. You know who would be like, fuck that? Is Mickey. Mickey's like,
fuck that shit.
Excuse me? No. Hey, Jerry. Yeah, I need 3 first-round picks in 2 seconds, please. Like,
no.
And it's not as like, okay, cool. Then, because basically at that point, Sean becomes like a hostage of the Saints. It's like either you come back and you coach the team, or if you want to get traded, we don't have to agree to trade you to a team if what we feel we're getting back isn't worth it. Because then that becomes a whole other thing. Because it's like, well, then does Sean want to go to a team that has to give up so many assets to get him? Because it gets tricky, right? It's tricky. Because as a head coach, like, would you want to go to a team where you know you're not going to have a first-round pick for maybe the next 2 to 3 years? Because that is putting – so let's say, as an example, he gets traded to the Cowboys. They give up 3 first-round picks. That means that he has to win a Super Bowl. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. It is a literally Super Bowl or bust situation if he comes back and coaches a team like the Cowboys, right? That's
why I don't think it's automatic. When people think it's just going to be automatic, because that would give Sean Payton. I mean, it would put pressure on Sean Payton, but he would also have so much leverage. Like, not only we had to trade picks, you're going to have to pay Sean Payton $15 million a year. You got to give him a Gruden contract.
Yep.
You got to give him a Gruden contract. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just a lot that goes into that. And for whatever reason, owners don't like paying coaches like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's guaranteed money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bitch. Sorry, it's my cat. Anyway, it's like it's a lot that goes into it. That's why I'm just like, a lot of Saints fans, they just stressing about, and I get it because it's like, Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless and all this, and that's all they're talking about is Cowboys, Sean Payton, Cowboys, and that's literally when Dallas Cowboys lose a preseason game, it's gonna be like, we want Sean Payton.
Nigga, you ain't lying, bro. They gonna lose the Hall of Fame game.
We gonna hear this shit all year, bro. Like it ain't gonna stop.
But as a Saints fan, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, this is business. Y'all want him? Pay up. Pay up. Give us 3 first-round picks for the next 3 years. And, I mean, and if that were to happen, they got to get those picks right. Yeah, you can't miss those 6 first-round picks, bro. You can't do it. But let's get into what. Okay, so I guess give me three coaches that let's say this isn't a dog and pony show and this is completely open. And like you said, man, we don't know. Maybe Byron Leftwich goes in and he says, this is my vision of the team. You guys have been in my division. This is what the defense has been doing to my offense, but this is what I can bring to the offense to take you to the next, whatever, right? That's how, if I was Byron Leftwich, that's how I would sell it.
He come in like that, I'm swooning. I'm like, yeah.
I was like, you know what? Your defense has already shown what it can do against my offense. However, just imagine if I'm able to take the offense to another level. And he had a plan like maybe
downfield, passing attack.
Maybe I could bring Chris Godwin with me. He's gonna be coming on a reduced deal because of the ACL. Anyway. I'm just spitballing. Give me your 2 to 3 top candidates for the head coach of the Saints. If you were interviewing and in charge, give me your 3 top candidates.
One you mentioned on the last podcast ain't gonna happen, but Jim Harbaugh, bro. Like,
not gonna happen, bro.
Ain't gonna happen. Like, it's not. So it's not even really worth talking about, but I just think it'll be fun. Because I think. Okay,
so just quickly, right? Let me just run these by you. When he was in the league, he had a 68 win percentage, 3 conference championships, and a Super Bowl appearance in 3 years.
Can't argue with it.
You can say what you want about him as a person. God, he's Aggie as fuck, bro. Just Aggie, bro. Just I see his face and I get annoyed.
Weird.
Yes. But you talk about someone that can come in, who have respect from the players. He's a program builder, and he's always shown that if he has talented players, he can compete with anybody, bro.
Right.
He can compete.
And he understands the entire team. Like, yes, if you didn't know anything about him, you would think he was a defensive guy. But no, he's a former quarterback.
Yep.
Former quarterback, understands offense, but he understands defense, he understands special teams. He's all-around football guy. You know what I'm saying? And those guys are valuable, man. They're valuable, extremely valuable. But like I said, it's not going to happen. Like, he has no connection to the Saints. It's just, not one of the things that's going to happen. Other than him, it's not a long list. DA would be next, bro. Like, I still like DA. I don't think it's a bad choice. He's been a rising star for over 10 years. Like, there's the reason why he got the Raiders job so quick. Like, literally, he was the Saints defensive backs coach for 2009 and 2010. Then became the defense coordinator for the Tebow Broncos for 1 year.
And I forgot about that.
Yeah, like that was the what propelled him to the Raiders job, because the Tebow offense was terrible, and that offense, the defense was lights out, and they allowed them to win a playoff game. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they got into the Raiders job, and the Raiders, it's so hard to judge him with the Raiders because he just had no imprint. I can't think of that was a Dennis Allen team because the defense was trash, the offense was trash, everything was trash. It was just trash. He won like 8 games. I'm saying in like 3 years, 8 games. It was just terrible. And you could give him excuses. Like I remember his first year, he had like $65 billion in dead money, and this was when the cap was like $130 million. So think about that. Like half his cap was used.
I remember that, bro. Oh my God, I had forgotten about that. Like the Raiders were deep.
It was
cap
terrible.
hell.
It was what the NFL heads want us to do now. Like just take on all this dead money and just have like a skeleton roster. For no reason whatsoever. So, but Raiders had it bad because they were paying like shitty players. Like, they had bad contracts, but like just terrible contracts. And then they stumbled for 2 years. Finally got out of cap hell. They drafted Derek Carr, and eventually he got fired because they just didn't have talent, man. It just wasn't a good team, and they got better over the years after that, but his whole time there, I watched him closely. I just never got an imprint of what a Dennis Allen. Like he never put his print on it. Like you can't even say like, oh, it's a tough ass team. Like we just talked about with Dan Campbell. It was a terrible Lions team, this year. Picking number 2 overall. But we could at least say like, damn, they were tough.
Yes,
they were tough. They fought. Couldn't say any of that about Dennis Allen. So that's the thing I'm wondering about him. Like, does he have some kind of imprint that he could put on this team with his personality? Because teams just reflect the personality of the head coach. And I don't know enough about Dennis Allen's personality or how he's able to translate that to a team to know if it'll be great or not. I don't know. And after that, I go Byron Leftwich, man, because it's just kind of a wild card. He's a former coach. He's a former quarterback. I would love that. That would give me confidence in us bringing in like a young quarterback. Because I would love to have a guy like that, that's been there to be able to coach a young quarterback that'll come in like a Malik Willis or Pickett or Carson Strong or whoever. If they would have drafted a quarterback, I would love to have him to just, I don't know, see what we could do. Like, I have no idea how to work. He came up under Bruce Arians. He's only coached a couple years. I have no idea what his offense will look like in this scheme or nothing like that. I assume it'll be a lot more downfield passing and stuff like that, but we don't know. We have no idea what a Byron Leftwich ran team would look like, but I just think it'll be interesting, just from a pure football standpoint.
No, it would definitely be interesting. I think my number 1, we talked about already, Jim Harbaugh, but likely not going to happen. Number 2, and not that I think it would happen or anything, but I feel like if they just were to bring in Doug Peterson, I think it kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone. 1, Doug Peterson and Sean are super close, real good friends. He's won a Super Bowl relatively pretty recently, so he would command the respect of the players. But I think you're getting some of the things that you would get from Sean, not to the degree maybe from Sean, but also someone that would put his own spin on the offense, right? Like you would get a Doug Peterson offense. Now people are like, well, as soon as Frank Reich left, like the offense wasn't the same thing. Like Doug Peterson is a talented coach. Like, I mean, there may be something to that, but I don't think you can just attribute all of the Eagles' success strictly just to Frank Reich, right?
Carson Wentz, man.
No, bro. I know. So I think if you got Doug, you bring in someone who won a Super Bowl, that there would be some similarities to Sean, but also he would be his own coach, and it would feel kind of like you're turning the page. Now, When you bring in someone like Doug Peterson, then you probably, you might want to bring his own staff. And that's where I don't know if Gail or Mickey's going to sign off against that. But that'd be my number 2. Number 3, I would actually probably put DA at 3 and then Byron Leftwich at 4. But I just continue to get this feeling that it's going to be Dennis Allen. And if it is Dennis Allen, I think you said it perfectly, man. Can the Dennis Allen, can we see what a Dennis Allen Saints team is? I don't want a Saints team where Dennis Allen is trying to be Sean or trying to emulate Sean. Like, he needs to be his own coach, his own person, and put his
and that's
own...
hard. That's hard for him because Sean Payton is mostly all he knew. You know what I'm saying? Like you talk about building his staff has been with the Saints. Like, he has been a pup as just a little, lowly defensive assistant all the way up to now. You know what I'm saying? So even if you listen to his interviews, he talks like Sean Payton. Like, so it's like it's hard for him to shake that, but it's something he has to develop, just like Sean had to develop his own, because when he first came, he was just a Parcells clone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he had to develop his own way of coaching, and that could be something that, the Saints are pretty patient. Well, they were patient, in years past. I think Gail will be the same way. We just let him grow into that position and, and learn from it. You look at Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin took over, Bill Cowher's team. And a lot of people like to say that, that Super Bowl they won under Tomlin, that's Bill Cowher's Super Bowl and all that stuff. But, he had to take his time to really make that Mike Tomlin's team. You know what I'm saying? And now that's how we look at the Steelers. That's a Mike Tomlin team. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that might have to take time and people will just have to be kind of, just patient. But, and he get that job. The Saints start like 0-3, 0-4. The streets gonna be hot, boy.
Right. The fire DA tweets.
Nigga trash, right? The defense not as good. The offense still garbage. Oh man.
And it's funny. Like we're talking about players at the Saints draft, what the free agency plan is going to be, and it's like you said, man. Like, we don't even know who the coach is, bro. The coach.
Yeah, it's like every time I'm sitting there watching players, I'm like looking at a quarterback. I'm like, but damn, who the coach?
Right? Is that going to fit into whoever the coach is, the scheme going to be? And also keep in mind, like, we're going, like, I am leaving for the the Senior Bowl Sunday morning. We're going to the Senior Bowl on Monday. Is there going to be a coach in place then?
Yeah, that's a good question.
the combine
want to have that in place.
I mean, the combine's in a couple of weeks in February. Just a lot of questions, man. Just a lot of questions. Anything else about Sean or the search or anything before we get out of here?
Nah, man, it's just looking at been looking at a lot of these quarterbacks in the draft. It's just hard to answer. Like, I asked this to our Discord, like, is this a time to finally draft a quarterback in the first round? Or do you just, go the vet route and see what you can do there, whether it's trading for a vet or, signing a veteran? Is it time? Like, or is it just completely dependent on who the head coach is? I don't know. There's so many variables to it because, like, these quarterbacks in this draft, there's a lot of talent there. A lot of questions, though. A lot of questions.
Yeah.
They're going to need work, man. Like, I feel much more comfortable with a Sean Payton being like, this is my guy.
Man,
I love
this is what, and that, who knows, right? Maybe he wouldn't have drafted him, and he probably even doesn't even fall. But, like, could you imagine you bring back Jameis, for another year. Nice incentive contract, bring him back. And then they had drafted like Malik Willis at 18. He just sit.
Oh, been perfect.
Rough, just sit. Because one of the things when I first watched him, because all I've been hearing all this draft class, bro. This quarterback class is trash. This is one of the worst quarterback classes. So, right, again, I hadn't watched a single player. And then the Sean news came out, and I was like, you know what? Like, I want to watch these players with fresh eyes because I don't know what scheme these players are gonna fucking be in, bro. I have no clue. So, like, I watched the game of Malik Willis, like a whole game, and I was like, oh shit, all right. Watch another game. Shit. All right. So I was trying to specifically watch games from 2020 where he played against Division I talent, right? Because if you watch games in the Liberty Conference, he looks like a man amongst boys in that conference. And I think I've watched 4 games of his, which 4 or 5 in terms of watching a prospect, you kind of have a good idea of what. And I was like, he's good. Like, I just was like, why is everyone so down? I mean, I haven't watched all the quarterbacks, but like, he's good. I feel like as a prospect, he's further along than Jordan Love was as a prospect. And I was like, he's honestly further along than fucking Trey Lance was last year. He went.
Honestly, I mean, you just have more evidence to look at.
Yeah, because he threw more passes, right? Trey Lance got drafted in the top 3. He only threw a very minimum number of passes, right?
Very minimum, yeah.
And so you have a prospect, just from a prospect standpoint, he's a better prospect than Jordan Love. He's more polished and to me, if you just put their games next to each other, I would say that as a passer, he's a better prospect than Trey Lance was. And then it's funny, you texted me this because I was thinking the exact same thing. I was watching him. I was like, he's a better passer than fucking Lamar Jackson was coming out of fucking Louisville. And like,
no question.
And so I was just like, how? I don't know. Maybe because he's black. That's probably what it is. Let's just be honest with you.
Could be that. Also, he's not a prototype. I think he's like 6'1". He has a good arm, but he's not like a big imposing type of player. So they get that little knock there.
It was just wild to me because I was watching like 4 or 5 games of his, and I was just like,
yeah, I was the same way. I was like, man, they keep talking about like this dude is
trash,
like just trash. I'm like, man, this dude, like I don't know. I just, it's a good player, man. Like it's a good ass player. I got my little questions here and there, but it's like, man, this dude. Shoot, I mean, we had like offense that was ready to like really like put something behind him. Like, man, let's go.
Like even just watching, he's like, to me, he's a better prospect than Daniel Jones was, and like it's.
Oh, no question. No, man.
Not even particularly fucking close. So I guess this was fascinating to your point. To your question, I'll say this, right? If you have conviction in the guy, Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, whoever, I think to me, Malik Willis is easily quarterback 1 in this draft class. I haven't watched Carson Strong. I know you've been peeping him. I
want to see what you think about him because you're gonna watch some games. You're gonna be like, ugh. But then you're gonna watch some. You can be like, ooh. Like, damn.
I'll just say this: if he's the guy, and you have conviction that he's the guy. If he falls and he's there at 18. I don't care who the coaching staff is, right? You just got to take him and then you figure out the rest later.
Yeah. But then there's like the vet market is like, Derek Carr, he's on the final year of his deal. Aaron Rodgers going through his shenanigans. Then we, who will we attract with the,
nobody.
Like, you think Aaron Rodgers won't go play with Dennis Allen?
Russell Wilson, like, oh, look. No, bro.
Play for DA? Like, maybe you could squeeze a Kirk Cousins in. Yeah. And then it was like Derek Carr is fascinating because you could probably get him for like a second round or 2 second-round picks. You could probably get him.
Here's the thing: if you're saying draft Derek Carr or not, trade for Derek Carr with a second or 2 seconds, I feel like this is my stance. I think that is more. We're talking about a Vegas team. That is a better route to go because one, you no longer have to draft your quarterback. You may be kind of be in like a little light quarterback purgatory, but not like a super bad one. And then it still allows you to go best player available at 18. Maybe that's a wide. Let's assume it's a wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
And then. So then you're bringing Derek Carr to the offense. He's a quarterback. Let's say you're drafting a Chris Olave, right, or Jameson Williams. Maybe the corpse of Michael Thomas becomes corporeal. He's not an imaginary person anymore. And you do something in free agency where you either sign a tight end or maybe you sign another wide receiver. So then you have your basis of offense. You still got some holes on offensive line. You can maybe draft a running back somewhere in the draft, and running backs aren't super hard to find. So you kind of retool your entire offense by making. You
could mess around and have like a top 12 offense. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and you still have the defense in place. Like you had Derek Carr. You get Michael Thomas back. You draft a wide receiver, Chris Olave, because I am confident that Chris Olave is going to be a good pro. Can't convince me otherwise, right? And you still have the basis of this defense, and Dennis Allen's coaching the defense.
And Derek Carr has never had anything close to the defense like we got.
Bro,
not anything close.
You can like in theory, right? I think you can fuck around and win like 10, 11 games with that team, bro. Like,
yeah, man. Yeah, if you look at it a certain way, you be like, damn, that could work. But then I think like, damn.
But then I think, man, if Malik's there at 18, I look at it.
Derek Carr like $40 million, bro.
Yes, but I look at it even more the other way. Like if Malik's there at 18 and you pass on him because you got Derek Carr, and then Malik goes somewhere and he's not Patrick Mahomes, but just say he's a good ass quarterback on a rookie contract, then it's like, no. Yeah, man. So it just depends on what, like, are you in it for the short term or are you in it for the long term? Because that's what the question really boils down to.
Saints in the fickle, bro.
Glad on. What would you do? What would you do?
Me personally, I really exhaust all resources on figuring out these rookie quarterbacks.
Yep.
And I'm not to a point where I'm in love with anybody. But I really invest into seeing if there is one that's there. Because, man, that rookie contract, bro, is a beautiful thing, boy.
Lottery ticket, bro.
Whew, it's a beautiful thing. But if not, I probably bite this year, bro. Like, I bite this year.
Dude, we were supposed to be biting this year, bro.
I know. I bite another year, whether it's Jameis or this is when you think about it. It's not even a lot of options when you just think about biting it.
Bro, the only quarterbacks that are under contract for the Saints this upcoming season thus far is Taysom, who is hurt and needs surgery, and Blake
Ian
Bortles. And Ian Book. Blake Bortles.
Bortles put up 33 touchdowns, man.
You go roll the boat. Bring the boat back.
33 touchdowns in the season. I'm just saying.
Bring the boat back. That would be fucking ridiculous, bro. They end up starting Blake Bortles.
Who is tradable? Who is tradable?
In terms of what? Like quarterbacks?
Quarterback, yeah.
Derek
Carr.
Derek Carr is tradable. I think you could get Kirk Cousins. I think he's tradable.
Wentz.
Or Jim Irsay has some things to say, though. Can we? I want to do this before I forget. Your thoughts. There's only been 2 head coaching hires thus far, right? The Bears hired Matt Eberflus, defense coordinator of the Colts, and then the Broncos hired Nathaniel Hackett.
Nathaniel Hackett, yeah.
Green Bay's quarterbacks coach, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, it just seems like Aaron Rodgers is destined to go to the Broncos.
Right, but it just feels that way, man. It just
feels destined, and I just feel bad for Justin Fields.
Mm.
It's just like, man, it's just like.
Why would you not? It just feels like it's kind of similar to what happened to Justin Herbert this past offseason.
Yeah.
It just seems criminal to me to have a potential stud rookie quarterback and just pair him with a defensive.
And you can see it, like you can see with Justin Fields, all he just needs is so bad, just that good coaching.
Yep.
Like, man, it's only because he's so talented. Like, you just get a real good coach's hands on him and let him flourish and give him an offense, give him, Andy Reid or, Eric Bieniemy or something. It's like, but it's not going to happen. They're going to bring in Eberflus, and he's going to try to build back the 85 Bears defense. And, the offense is going to be neglected, and it's just going to be the same old Chicago Bears that we've been knowing forever. You know what I'm saying? And there's going to be questions about Justin Fields years from now, like, is he really good? Is he not? Blah, blah, blah. It's just like, man, like, damn, like y'all don't see the vision at all, what?
Just getting back to your quarterback question, Carr, Cousins, Rodgers, although I don't think we'd be in play for him. Wilson, don't think we'd be in play for him anymore. Creepy Deshaun Watson. I'll say this on this podcast, bro. If the Saints traded for Deshaun Watson, like I told this to a friend of mine, like I don't know if I can continue doing the podcast, bro. Like
I know, man. It'll. I don't like it.
And someone who is so adamant about calling the NFL out and their bullshit about the players that just get passes, bro. Like I just, I couldn't, man. I don't know what I'd do, bro. I would just be so much like, even after like big wins, like I couldn't even be excited about it, bro. Because I was like, this dude was doing what? In massage parlors, bro. But some team is going to trade for him this offseason.
Yeah.
Some team is going to trade for him.
If he showed some contrition or something, man, if he could just be like, look, here's what happened, but I don't know.
He is so adamant. Thoughts on, before we get out of here, thoughts on potentially the Raiders going it feels like this is like a Lane Kiffin route again, bro. Like maybe getting Josh McDaniels in to be their head coach and pairing him with like a New England guy for the GM. And I'm like, did we not see what Josh McDaniels did when he had a lot of power in Denver?
Oh, yeah, that ain't gonna work. I didn't see that. I gotta look into that.
Yeah, Schefter basically, I don't know how close it is, but the tweets he sent out earlier today made it seem like it may be like a New England pairing in Vegas for the Raiders job.
Like, bro, you done passed on all these jobs all these years.
And this is the one?
Yeah, I mean, not saying that, the Raiders job is not a bad job, but
there's been a lot. Who did he leave at the altar? He left the Niners at the altar. The Colts, and I think he left the Niners at the altar too.
I think so, yeah.
Then they pivoted to went with Kyle. That's right, yeah. So this is the one you gonna get? Okay, all right, cool. Anyway, just craziness continues to happen in the NFL. Today's Thursday. I think the next time we'll probably record, will be maybe like sometime on Monday after the Senior Bowl interviews. So my plan is Sunday I'll get to New Orleans around like 2. I'm gonna hit up Blue Oak barbecue with Ramon. Maybe watch the game, not the whole game. I don't think I'll watch the whole game because I want to get on the road. And then I'll be in Mobile Sunday evening. We'll see. I don't know if we've got enough people who expressed doing like a meetup with us in Mobile, but if we get enough people who want to do a meetup, we'll maybe figure out. I mean, Ryan's the Mobile resident, so maybe he can find a Mobile hotspot for us to go to.
I don't know. I don't know anything, bro.
You know a bar in Mobile?
I don't know a bar. I don't know a hotspot. You know me, I'm in New Orleans, bro. Like, every time I want to go out, I'm back in New Orleans. I don't know.
Well, it makes no sense for you to drive all the way to New Orleans and us do a meetup somewhere there, and then both of us having to drive all the way back to Mobile, bro. Although, to be fair, for us to have the most fun, we should do the fucking meetup in New Orleans. But
really,
we should though, bro. I'll be getting in a little after the game starts, the Chiefs Bengals game, and New Orleans is going to treat that game like a mini Saints game because of Burrow and shit. So maybe we figure something out. Maybe we do a little meetup in New Orleans if Ryan decides he wants to drive. We'll see. That's absolutely not. We'll figure it out. If we decide to do a meetup in New Orleans around 2:30, 3-ish, Sunday, we'll send something out on Twitter or on Instagram. So we'll go from there. But that said, we'll keep doing these episodes as much as we need them because we will definitely continue need to do these episodes for everything that's going on. Appreciate you guys for supporting us. The numbers this week, probably because we're also doing a lot. This is like our 3rd episode we've done this week, but the numbers we're doing this week on each episode that we're doing, the numbers are great on, which is great and tremendous. So you guys are definitely listening and supporting us. We greatly appreciate that. We can't thank you guys enough. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. I know things may seem, dark and everything, and Sean stepping down and all that. It's gonna be all right. It's just fucking football. Like, the Saints will hire a new coach. He'll either be good, he'll be bad. If he's good, that's great. We'll talk about it. If he's bad, we'll make fun of it and make jokes out of it. And life just fucking goes on. There's nothing we can fucking do about it. So with that, we're gonna get out of here. We might see some of you guys on Sunday. We'll keep you guys in the loop on that. With that, we're out.
Peace.
Denim is in demand at Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston. Get cash on the spot for everything denim. Bring in your trendy and classic styles of gently used name brand denim. Get paid for your denim shorts, skirts, jackets, jeans, and more. We're looking for denim that is blue, black, or a bold color, and jeans in styles like mom jeans, bootcut, baggy, flared, and ripped. We want everything denim. Sell your denim for cash at Plato's Closet today. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.